All right, for my first through fourth grade classes, this is going to be our last video of the day, and this is a topic that some of you may be very familiar with and be able to do right away with no problem, and for other people, it may be a little bit newer to them, or they might not be as certain about what to do, and that is going to be how to get onto Raz Kids and use that website to do a little practice with reading in a couple of different ways. Now, for students and parents, there's two basic ways to get there. You could go to a browser and you could type in Raz Kids, and it's going to be the first result at the top where you would click on it, and then you also have to click on Kids Login, which is going to appear right here. Right? Kids Login. And then from there, you're going to be at the page where you can log in to your own or your student's Raz Kids teacher site. Now, if you wanted to do it a different way, if typing that in was difficult, but you are at the school's homepage, we have that link to Porter Portal, Weymouth Porter Portal, a link listing website that we have set up right here. And Raz Kids is under the language arts section. So they're divided into the sections, new links, computers and technology, math, and then right here, language arts, and right in the middle, there's a happy face by it. We have the link for Raz Kids. Now, that's going to take you to a sign-in page, and if it was a shared computer in school, what we face a lot of times is that we're using a computer that another class was signed into. If that is the case, and I'm trying to sign into a different class, and this is in another class in the school, I would just click this blue change teacher button. If you're on a device where you're pretty much just using your own Chromebook all the time, you may not have that happen. So I'm going to use for a sample right here, since this is for everybody in first through fourth grade, I'm going to use Mrs. Ritchie's class. You have to know your teacher's classroom name, and there were login cards that went home, which you also need for another step in a second, and they have that teacher's name right there. Now, their name is the name for the classroom, so it may not just be their regular name. For Mrs. Ritchie, it happens to be M. Ritchie 2, and that's her class name in Raz Kids. So I'm going to click Go. For each class and each teacher, it is a different class name. Then once I click that, I see that there is the class where I can see my name as well as the names of the other students in the class. And I'm going to go ahead and click on mine, or you click on yours. In this case, I'm going to use this one called Sample. You use whichever one you would like to, but when I click on Sample, I have to enter in my picture password, and this is also on that login card. And I know the one for the sample student right here because it's just made for a demonstration. You have your own password that's just unique to you, and you would want to be the only one that knows that. As far as students in the school, you can share it with mom and dad, and they could know. Sometimes post it up on like a refrigerator, or if you have a wall area near where you do your schoolwork, along with your other logins, but you have two pictures that you have to enter for Raz Kids. So for the sample account, I'm going to enter my two pictures, click Go, and then I'm in this reading area. Now, this is going to look a little different depending on what grade you're in, but it really all breaks down to the same thing. So the main thing in Raz Kids is where you want to do the level up section. Right now, in lower grades like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, it is set up a little bit differently, where there's just a rocket and then a little space station, and that says level up. Here, we want to click on this section because it's made for a little bit of an older audience, and when I click level up here, it brings me to my reading section where it shows me what reading level I'm on and what I'm working towards. Those can be adjusted throughout the school year. If it's not exactly right in the beginning, teachers do update those as students take reading assessments and progress through the reading levels. And then for each book that you see, this is a great way to have a digital library of books at home. For each book that you see, there is going to be an icon for headphones, for a book, and for a question mark. Those are the three possible things to do with each book. When I click on it, I'm going to then be able to click one of those, and that's listen to the book, read the book myself, or take a quiz on it, which right now happens to be grayed out for this book because I haven't listened or read the book. It doesn't want you trying to take the quizzes and just guessing before you've done one of those two things. So if you're going to read the book on your own, you would click right here and read through that book. If I switch to listen, it would read it for me. And it also shows me how many stars I get for doing each of those tasks. So I'm going to pretend that right now I'm interested in reading the book. I look at the cover, click to go on the next page, and it has regular navigation tools for moving forward and back as I go ahead and read that book. Now, what I want to do is make sure that I am actually reading every single word and that I do it really well to practice my reading, to understand the book, to know what happened, and really to do all of the things that Raz Kids is about. If I get stuck on a word, I can click on it. And there are a couple of things that I can do, but probably the most valuable that you're going to see is hear the word. In this way, if students are using Raz Kids on their own, if you're doing this on your own, and you get to this word right here, and you're not totally sure what it means, and maybe whoever's helping you, like a mom, dad, grandmom, grandpa, or anybody else, if they're tied up at the moment, they're busy at the moment, you could click on that word and hear it.
Costumes. Costumes.
And right, it'll tell you what that word means, even if you're trying to read the rest on your own. Now, for each task that I do in Raz Kids, I go and I get stars. I get points in the form of stars. And what I can do is I can go in this section that has backgrounds, and I could pick some different backgrounds. I can also go to where I build my robot or my avatar, and it just gave me 500 bonus points that I can use to start doing that. And I can click through all the different parts of that robot, and if I wanted to give it a different funny head, as long as I have enough stars, which right now I have 500, and this one costs 150, I can go ahead and I can change that. And this is something to do as a little reward. There's also a Raz rocket that you decorate by buying things with your star points and putting in that rocket. And a new thing they added for this year for everybody is a donation, where if you have a lot of points or you've gained a lot of points, which is really simple to do in Raz Kids, you can actually donate those points for a meal, or here they have over here for 3 meals, as kind of a charitable thing, as something kind to do. All right, so that covers the basics of Raz Kids. Now, again, when you look around, there are some other sections, there are some things to do. It'll show you different statistics of things that you've done. And if you're in like 1st and 2nd grade, you may see that this layout looks a little bit different, but it still has all of the same things, where you'll see that level up section looks more like a space station on a planet, and you're able to click on there, the main place where you want to go through and read and listen to reading and take quizzes on those different books.